Hi, I'm Paul, CEO of Better Breathing Sport. Lung function is such an essential part because it's actually about the oxygen being transferred within the cells to actually generate energy as the cellular side of things. Without oxygen, we actually have the buildup of lactic acid within the tissue, which actually is what causes the burn feeling when we're actually exercising too much. With the lungs being able to function more effectively and oxygen being able to be transferred to the circulatory system to then go into the tissue, we then have a waste product of CO2, which we then breathe out of the lungs to remove carbon in the tissue, to then, rather than having lactic acid or acidic sensation within the tissue. With the proper lung function, it results in the fact we can have longer workout times, faster recovery times, and higher energy levels and better sleep patterns. Environmental factors, things like dust, sandstorms, pollution, all have an impact on the actual mucus ciliary escalator. This actually causes the mucus within our lungs to actually become drier, become thicker, and harder to clear from the lungs. The resulting factor is that we actually have a tendency to cough more. It makes it harder to clear the particles and actually makes it harder to actually be able to breathe more effectively, especially when we're trying to do exercise, which is such an important part to actually be able to clear the mucus and have clear airways through our exercise. The Better Breathing Sport actually helps to provide a clearer airway through the process, and also help to have better oxygen and CO2 delivery to and from the lungs to actually give us better workout times, faster recovery times, and higher energy levels. It actually uses a process similar to the cough mechanism, creating 15 to 35 mini coughs, which actually helps us to make sure the airway clearance and the lung capacity is optimal, so that when we actually exercise, we have a better chance of actually performing and in enhanced mode and getting better personal best times. The other components of the product also come into the process of expiratory muscle improvement. So it actually allows us to improve our expiratory muscle, which is actually important about clearance of CO2. And it's the actual CO2 that gets rid of the carbon out of the actual tissue, which actually creates ethanol or lactic acid, as people know. And when we can actually clear the CO2 out of the lungs, it means that we actually have the ability to work out longer and actually improve the recovery times, because it's the actual removal of carbon from the actual tissue that actually allows us to get rid of the lactic acid buildup, which is where we actually increase the actual, or improve the actual recovery process when we're actually breathing. Actually, by providing more education and better understanding what's happening within the lungs, the circulatory system, and the actual tissue, we actually can have athletes empower them to be able to have the knowledge to have a better understanding of how important breathing processes are. Deep breathing and actually use of a device like Better Breathing Sport can actually help to improve their actual personal best times, or in some cases, like we have examples where Olympic swimmers have actually had the benefit of improving or breathing less and actually feeling less breathless from what they did 1 month previously from using the product. It allows them to reach for the gold medals, or at least even qualify for a medal through the process. Because when we're here talking about sport, it's actually the difference of hundreds of seconds. And if we can actually help athletes to understand how important it is to breathe and what that actual interaction between the actual lactic acid buildup within the tissues, then we can actually empower them to actually be able to perform better and have a better quality of life.